We just got back from an incredible morning workout where I did shoulders, Clark did abs, calves, neck, forearms, biceps, triceps.
Everything but shoulders.
Everything but shoulders. So it was a great workout, though. But let's jump onto this today real quick. I had a friend that passed. You had a friend that passed this weekend or this last week. And I know it's going into the holiday season, and I guess the studies show that this is like the hardest time for people. More suicides and depression at this time of the year. Trying to wrap my head around it. I had a friend, 30 years, took his own life. Didn't feel like he could talk to me or any of his other friends, which I got Clark, man. My low times I've reached out to you, and then there's low times that you automatically knew to reach out to me or come see me. Yeah. What's your suggestion on this stuff? This stuff is...
Talk about it. So I had Gary Plummer on my Zoom call on Saturday, and Gary's had a lot of head trauma from playing in the NFL for 15 years. You know, you figure every single play you're getting concussed on some level. So we're seeing a lot of the outcomes of that with men who, and women too. I saw a cheerleader pop up. She said, man, I've been dropped on my head so many times from cheerleading. I have CTE and all this sort of stuff. The bottom line is you got to talk about it. And the amount of men that thank me for talking about mental health is absolutely amazing, because it seems so taboo for a big, strong guy like this to talk about mental health, or someone who, like me, seems so positive all the time to talk about mental health. Well, I go to a counselor. I don't make any, I don't hide that. I do reels about it. Like, I'm sitting outside my counselor's office right now. I'm going to go in here and tell her what I'm currently facing in life, because none of us are strong enough to bear the weight of life alone without at least somebody to unload it on. I mean, you don't have to be crazy. You don't have to be in dire straits or ready to take your own life. You have to be smart enough to be ahead of the curve and share your struggles with somebody who cares about you enough to listen and give you really good advice. Not like, yeah, fuck them, man. You know, it needs to be sometimes challenging. Like, I love to be challenged by people. When someone says, man, you're thinking the wrong way, I'll sit up and listen, because I want to be coached. I want to be corrected, and fixed and helped.
What made you start talking to a counselor?
Realizing that if I didn't, the weight of what I was carrying from my marriage, from raising kids, from trying to make a living, building a business, dealing with life, hearing things like just from the news, just all of the stuff that we're bombarded with on a daily basis. No human, in my opinion, is equipped to deal with that on their own. So I was smart enough to go, hey, I want to go talk to somebody. And it was a recommendation from a friend. He said, hey, you might think about going to talk to a counselor. And I probably, like a lot of people, had this preconceived notion that, well, I don't need a counselor. You know, I can handle this on my own. I do need one. And I've invested literally tens of thousands of dollars into counseling over the years. And I'm better off as a result, for sure.
Is this, so it's basic, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's so that you can, it's much more than just venting. It's having a outside opinion on how you're dealing with things. Give me more, because I'm not.
So a good counselor is going to listen and then repeat back to you. So this is what I heard you say, and then have you hear it from their perspective. Like, yes, that's what I said. And then my opinion, what a really good counselor does, and what I've learned to do with the guys that I coach, is give some sort of action item. There's a really great Netflix special on right now with, who's the actor? And he's, Stutz is the name of it, if you want to watch it. It's Jonah Hill.
Okay.
He is interviewing his counselor, and it's really unique. It's just two of them in a room, like it's a normal counseling session, but Jonah Hill is interviewing Stutz. And I loved what Stutz said about, I don't like traditional counseling, because all a traditional counselor does is repeat back to you what you said, but they don't give you any action items like, okay, this is what I want you to do today. So I'll give you an example. On the way up, I'm talking to one of my good friends back in Canton, Ohio, a guy that I grew up with, Rich King. And I was talking to him about my marriage and the situation I'm in right now. And I don't hide anything from anyone. After 35 years, I'm struggling and it's hard. And what he suggested that I do gave me clarity and perspective from somebody else's position. He said, the only thing you can do is choose to love your wife today, regardless of what's going on, or get out. So what is your choice? What are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to love my wife today unconditionally. And all I can focus on is today. I can't fast forward into the future. Like, what if this is still like this in 6 months? That'll drive me nuts.
Right.
So what I'm doing today is deciding to love my wife unconditionally. You know what I did? From the gym, I texted her a message, honey, it's going to be okay. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I love you. And blah, blah, blah. And she just texted me back while I was here. Thank you. It's exactly what I needed to hear today. That's it.
And so the counselor kind of, besides your friends, kind of give you that outside view into this.
Yeah.
Instead of somebody just kind of agreeing with you and listening to you.
That does nobody any good. Like, oh, so what I heard you say, Mike, was you're really frustrated by this, that, and the other. You're like, yeah.
And then that's it.
Okay, what else you got, Mike? Well, this, and what I heard you say, Mike, that's traditional counseling. But I think counseling has evolved to the point where they really say, okay, I heard you say this, and here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. You can take my advice or not. And that's the type of counselor I want to get around. Someone's going to challenge me to be better. And that's what my buddy did. And he knows my life story. He knows my relationship. I've called him bitching and crying and complaining and all of these things that we do as humans. But I don't want to do that without somebody challenging me back and saying, the only thing that you can control is how you act in this situation. What are you going to do, tough guy? And then he'll do me like that. You tell everybody else in the world to do this. What are you going to do? And by the time I drove from San Diego to LA, I was in a new frame of mind, and I was able to approach my wife differently, the exact way she needed to be approached. And it's working for me today. And tomorrow doesn't matter because I could die on the way home.
Question for you, because I think when I got in the car, I got a call from a business partner of mine, and he was talking about the friend that I lost. And one of the questions was there any mental health or anything that was visual that you could have saw that you could have possibly helped and stuff? And there was nothing from my side. I didn't see anything. And so I'm just wondering, and he got to talking about imbalance of body and the hormones and the imbalance of those things, how those things affect people. I guess I don't know enough about that. I don't know enough about, I do know enough about, like, when I'm dieting, I'm much more emotional when I'm dieting and quick to react compared to if I'm in a surplus of calories. But hormones, we know that your hormones are good. So, and you still have a struggle with it. So I can't imagine if the hormones and they're eating bad and everything else is bad in their lives. And then on top of it, they're starting to get sad. What's your recommendation?
The number one thing I tell my guys to do is to check your blood to make sure the hormones are not the issue. So you have to start from the most basic place. And to me, the most basic place is not, hey, limit your carbohydrates. It's go find out what's going on with your hormones. Because just like women go through menopause, men go through andropause. And it's the exact same thing. It's an imbalance of your hormones, which causes some sort of chemical response in your brain, which causes us to act differently or think differently or feel differently, or anything that isn't normal to us. So people go, are you depressed? Are you this? Then they start throwing drugs at us when possibly, maybe a change in lifestyle could have been what fixed it. But what we do in our Western culture, in my opinion, based upon my experience, is we jump to the most invasive remedy possible. Like, okay, we're just going to give you this hormone. Well, wait a minute. Would exercise be good as an option? Would eating better be good as an option? Would be surrounding yourself with more positive people, like in a church or an AA or a group of friends. That's why I drive an hour and a half to come up here, is to hang around and do this kind of stuff. Like, this isn't, this serves me. This is good for me. And I'm smart enough to do this. And so start with your hormones first, and then make sure, and then, you know, add the simple things, right? Lifestyle modification is the number one thing. We can't resort to taking a chemical, because when we do that, then we're dependent upon that chemical for the rest of our life. And then it's a slippery slope.
How quick Jeff for us to block that guy. That was awesome. If you guys got questions too, we'll take those questions. Again, I am not an expert in this field, and I am terrible about talking emotions and stuff like that. So it's cool that Clark is here today, because he's dealing with some stuff, and also being able to take the forefront of having somebody to talk to. I think that's a big thing to do.
Yeah. Dave is asking about, you know, Kratom. Honestly, he said, tell us about the power of Kratom. Kratom has helped me with mood. It really does elevate and boost my mood. I feel great off of Kratom. And, you know, as a product that I use, 3X by Urban Ice Botanicals, that is a great, matter of fact, I was sipping it on the way up here. I used to steal it from you. I don't have to steal it from you anymore. It's back here in the back of Mike's house, and it elevates your mood. And I use it wisely. I use it sparingly. I don't depend on it, but I definitely add it to my arsenal of stuff to benefit me. But, you know, I have a new perspective, Mike, based upon all these people that are passing, honestly. And I think this is a great topic that a lot of people really need to hear and understand. You know, I had a very traumatic situation 2 Fridays ago, and, you know, we had Eric the trainer's just recently passed, and it's given me this perspective of, I'm not wasting my time with anyone who's not adding value to my life. If you were not adding value to my life, you know, great. We were friends for 30 years, but it's time to move on. I love you. It's great. We're going on, but you still add value to my life. That's why I drive an hour and a half to be here. You know, Jeff adds value to my life. There are people that if they don't, people don't understand it. If you don't add value to my life, I don't care. You're done. I'm through with you, because I am not wasting time or energy on anyone that is not going to have this ebb and flow of relationship that is encouraging and uplifting and educational and inspirational and friendly and fun and all of these things. The minute you start adding drama, I'm done with you, and I don't care who you are.
I think one thing I heard was that we're the person that continues to take that energy from you but never refeeds it.
Yeah.
You know, it's what do they say? They'll use you as much as you can help them, and then when they're done with, as far as you can push them, they're done with you.
Yeah, because they're uncomfortable and they don't want to grow.
Don't you think it's just the selfishness of, all right, you're my coach, that's all I want you for, there's nothing else there. And that's, you. Okay, you're a coach, that's what your job is, to get them to get to a point and to move on. But a friend isn't that. A friend is there to yin and yang, help out and go back and forth. You got another question for us?
Let me see. We got Antonio Sabato Jr. chiming in here. 1 1/2. Where are you at, bro? We're right here.
Antonio. One thing that I thought was interesting is that Mo, all this stuff that we talk about, Mo, she told me this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. It's a tot thing, a street thing. She just kind of lives it. She goes, not everybody deserves your time. Not everybody gets your time. Not everybody gets access to you. And that's why I think she can always continue to move like she does. And we never see her regenerate the battery, because she's always going forward and always living that style.
Yeah.
Where I need the timeouts and stuff.
Yeah, if I wasn't someone in Mo's life that didn't add value there would be no time for me at all. You know what I mean? Because she's just that person. Talk about blinders on and moving forward. And there's nothing, that's how we should be.
I thought that was harsh.
Yeah.
When I first started dating, I was like, wow, you're just like cut and dry. She's like, so it's way of life. We're short. This is it. Yeah. Enjoy.
James DeMello, years ago, I remember him telling me, Clark, I have a very limited circle in my life. And at the time, I thought it was arrogant. I didn't really understand it. But now I understand it better than ever. Like, especially being in the position that you're in, and somewhat me, with being exposed to so many people in the world who want your time, who want to whatever. you have to be protective of your energy circle because there's only so much of it available. And, you know, people might think that I'm harsh. When someone yesterday asked me, can I meet you? No. 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 Why? Well,
That
why?
was me. That was me that he said it.
I have no reason to tell you that I don't want to meet you. It's because you don't like me. First of all, I don't know you. And then I blocked you because you started pushing the issue. And that's totally fine. You know why? Because it's my life.